Here we go. We're recording, Chris.
Hello.
Hello. How are we?
It'd be a lot better if I wasn't looking. It'd be a lot better if I wasn't looking at my own face on your t-shirt.
It had to be done, didn't it?
The only good thing about that t-shirt is my teeth look nice.
Yeah, that is true.
I have
That is a
lovely
good
teeth.
look. You look like what's his name? Ross and Friends.
Oh, no.
Ross and Friends with a big teeth. So we decided a couple of weeks ago that we would, since we're missing each other so much in our chit chat, that we would do a podcast / Skype call, talk some rubbish for an hour.
What you don't know is Sandy messaged me and said, "Please, for the love of God, get Ali out my hair for an hour."
Do you know what? That's possible, to be honest. I've only been working from home for 2 days and we're ready to murder each other.
And the kids also said, "Please stop my dad with terrible jokes."
See, Aaron, I would agree, Anya, Logan loves them because Logan's following my path of the terrible dad joke.
People pleaser, so I did what they asked.
Aaron actually said to me the other day, "Could you ever be serious just for once, Dad?" And I was like, "No."
No. Next question.
How does the world's largest building society trust you to train people? I was like, I have no idea. But they do.
That only goes to prove that there is no adults.
Exactly. We just get older. No more than sensible. So, looking on your table there, Contact Coffee. What's the yellow cup?
They're not a sponsor.
They're not a sponsor. Get over that.
This is a mug you have to buy when you do Mont Blanc Marathon. You're not allowed to do the marathon unless you've got a little cup because you might have to drink from a stream. So you can buy one of these Mont Blanc marathon cups. So okay. I've never actually used it for anything at all. So I thought I'll use it today.
Use it today, and then your Danimals. Aye, is that snapback, as the kids say, or is it fitted? Snapback. See, you can't
get a fitted hat for a bowling ball weed.
I suppose that is true. And then your snuggly blanket with all your t-shirts and stuff.
Finish your t-shirts. Aye.
It's nice.
Rampage McDonald t-shirt.
The great and powerful, as Joe Rogan would say. Maybe.
Fuck that asshole.
Totally.
So, yeah. How's it been going? Life good?
All right, actually. How's your has the self-isolation been going?
Great. I wake up in the morning, eat, do some training, nap, eat some more, do some more training, stretch, and then watch TV.
Living the life of a pro athlete, eh?
Yeah, I'm not a pro athlete. Definitely not a pro athlete.
It's just been weird, eh? I think is the biggest thing. Just a very, very weird situation. That everything just shutting down. We're missing jets. We're missing everything.
You've just angered. Like, there'll be about 3 people watch us, but at least one of them will be infuriated because you called it jets.
I love calling it jets. We are missing the jiu-jitsu. We're missing the jiu-jitsu. No idea what accent that is, like. Slightly racist, whatever one it went with.
Can't be racist. So wait, you're ginger, you can be racist.
I can be, that is true. I'm the only social group that is still socially acceptable to abuse in Scotland.
Yeah. You can still be racist to a ginger.
Ah, exactly. We're the blacks of Scotland.
You what?
What?
What did you just say?
The blacks of Scotland. I just went there, I don't care. This is our show, we can say what we want.
I don't think that's how it works.
Is it not? Oh, we'll find out soon. We'll find out when YouTube pulls us.
I don't think you can say that.
Oh, well, too bad.
Anyway, talking about jets.
Yes.
Let me hear the story of how you got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's a weird one, because I didn't grow up doing any martial arts at all. I don't know about you. No. Zero martial arts growing up. Most of my mates did all the various 80s martial arts, which is predominantly karate at the Y. but I never ever got into it. But as you know, and as most people that are probably watching this know, I'm a massive pro wrestling fan, and have always loved pro wrestling because it's awesome, and I don't care what anyone else says. So I used to watch the wrestling, ridiculously.
Everybody did.
What was that?
Everybody did.
Yeah, totally. And then boxing as well. Predominantly when Mike Tyson appeared on the scene. When Tyson appeared, it kind of got me into boxing pretty heavily. But I still never did any martial arts at all. And then in the pro wrestling, mid-90s, Ken Shamrock came across into the WWE. As it was at the time. Aye. And they always used to talk about him being like, from the UFC, the most dangerous man in the world, and all that kind of chat. And I managed to lay my hands on a VHS copy, that's how old school we're going, a VHS copy of UFC 3, which neither him nor Hoyce actually won. It was an alternate because both Hoyce and Shamrock were injured during the tournament. But kind of, even within that, it was the Hoyce versus, do you remember Chemo Leopold, the big Hawaiian guy? Anyway, that was Hoyce's fight, and a little bit like everyone kind of seen this wee skinny Brazilian guy absolutely destroying people was kind of like, interesting. And started to kind of follow the UFC at that point from then on. And obviously in the early UFCs, it was pretty much set up for jiu-jitsu to be the winner. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of heavily influenced by that. And always planned on getting into it and just never ever found anyone to actually get involved in it. And then probably about 8-9 years ago, myself and a couple of guys, when I lived through in Logelly, got together when a gym opened, like an actual like weights gym, not like a martial arts gym or anything. And they had a studio that was for hire, and it had rubber mats down. And 2 or 3 of us had been talking for a while about giving jiu-jitsu a try, and we did like probably a lot of people do when they first start, YouTube videos, the old Gracie Combatives, and just started rolling and kind of just figuring things out by ourselves. And then I moved out of Logelly, and a couple of other guys moved out, and when the young lads got a girlfriend, because they always ruin your jiu-jitsu, and it just kind of fell apart a little bit. And then about 2.5 years ago, Aaron was looking to get more involved in something, get a little bit physical, because he didn't really do a huge amount of sports, wasn't interested in football, and was just looking for something. And years when I did this kind of, me and my mates messing about in the gym about sort of 7-8 years ago, I used to do the Gracie Kids stuff with Aaron and Logan when they were like 4 and 5, which is like a basic introduction to the theory of jiu-jitsu, just without calling it jiu-jitsu. And we used to mess about that, and I kind of said to Aaron, do you fancy giving that a bash again if I can find anywhere to train? He was like, yeah. And literally that night on Facebook, Owen Evans, shout out to Owen, tagged in at Goliath just down the road saying, giving this jiu-jitsu a try. And I was like, that's the universe trying to tell us something. We'd literally had the conversation that day, and then that night on Facebook just down the road. So went along to Goliath, and then just kind of stuck around for the next 2.5 years, and it just, I think, you know yourself, and probably as you say, the 3 people that are watching this know this, that once you get into jiu-jitsu, it kind of, you either very quickly leave after like 2 sessions, or you become absolutely addicted to it. And I fell into the addicted category. And I've just been doing it ever since. The last kind of 2.5 years have been pretty much 2, if not 3 times a week. Still no better than when I started, but you know what I mean. I enjoy it. It's good. What about you though? Because you were a boxer originally, or from what I picked up, you used to box. So when did you jump from the striking to the grappling arts?
Well, what happened was I had been sparring on a Friday night. So down at the Kingdom, Kirkcaldy, I'd been sparring with Stuart Keane, and the guy punches out unbelievably hard, undescribably hard. Okay. I'd done 3 rounds, and he caught me right at the 10 seconds to go in the last round, and he caught me in the nose, broke my nose. My nose had been broken 3 times. There was a massive pool of blood everywhere, and I instantly went, shit. So one of the boys gave me a lift out to A&E, and I was in there for ages. But I was getting, taking Snapchats and Instagram videos to send to people. Everybody was sending me videos back from like the pub, and I was 30 at the time, and thinking, why am I still doing this? Why am I doing it? By that point, I wasn't going to the Commonwealth Games or anything. So it was kind of like, well, what is the point in this? I was kind of training was getting a bit the same constantly. You knew what you were doing when you were going in. There wasn't, you could always improve, but it was just getting a bit boring. So, and then not long after that, a guy that I knew from Dundee, Mike Till, died. He had been boxing as a pro, and he was in a coma after a fight, died. And another guy that I know from Dunfermline, he was boxing pro, and I think he had got like some dementia or something. And it was just kind of like all at the same time. But then what happened was, when I was lifting weights, I think Tuesday morning with Johnny down at the rugby club where we used to lift weights, John Humphreys had turned up a couple of times with a guy, Mark, who doesn't really train anymore. And one morning, young Mark hadn't turned up, and I think Johnny had a hangover, or he was injured, one of the two. It would only be those two. And he went, "Did you want to do jiu-jitsu? Do jiu-jitsu with John this morning?" And I was like, "Aye." So I went on a jiu-jitsu session with John and went, "This is awesome." And then from that, Ramsey, because we had boxed together, Ramsey had went, "I've always wanted to try that as well." So he came down in a couple of classes, and he also trained at, went to Rising Phoenix because it suited his work. But he came down as well. We both kind of started that around at the same time, and it was just, like you say, great fun. So it was difficult going from something that you were good at, and then to do something that you were terrible at, absolutely terrible. But yeah, I mean, I had a very, very slight introduction to jiu-jitsu before that. A very large-headed, drunk man wrestled me naked once. That's quite funny. We were at my friend split up with his wife. I've been with him for a while, and his cousin, who was Laurie, was a good bodybuilder. He brought across his friend one night. We're all in the hot tub getting drunk, and this guy came in, and he knew I was a boxer, and he was being an asshole. Really, boxing shit. UFC's way better, and he was drunk. It's so annoying. Then the next morning, he was trying to explain to me why jiu-jitsu was better than boxing, and he was bollock naked. And then he could show me why jiu-jitsu was better than boxing. But I didn't like him at first. He's loud and obnoxious, and I didn't like him. That man was Dan Reed.
Sounds a bit right for Dan, eh?
He's a great friend. So that was my introduction to jiu-jitsu. So I knew about jiu-jitsu because of Dan grappling with me naked. I wasn't naked. I just like to say that.
Okay.
Dan was. But yeah, so I knew about that, and then from Dan, I met a couple. Actually, went out for his 30th, and like Christian Gralgat from the Globetrotters was there. I didn't know who any of these guys were. It turns out they're all quite a big deal. We were at Dan's 30th, and I knew, but I was a boxer, and they were all jiu-jitsu guys. And, so all these things kind of fell into place beautifully. So yeah, and then we kind of stopped training at the rugby club. But that was when Dan was coming over, and then there was an affiliation between Goliath and Danimal. So John started training there, and the whole thing just kind of fell beautifully into place.
Indeed.
So yeah, it was good fun.
It's been good.
An interesting road so far.
It certainly has. So were you, did you used to watch the UFC or any MMA before you jumped in? Did you? Nope. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I was boxing. In fact, I get, you get memories on Facebook regularly.
Yeah.
From 2008 or 2009, 2011, whatever it is. Regularly comes up things about me hating the UFC, hating MMA. Like stuff about them, but why on the ground? Just stand up.
Just stand
Regular
up.
stuff. Just
I
I was
would
one of those
work on-
guys. I was one of those guys like, man, you'd never take me down, man. I would catch you an uppercut. I would catch you an uppercut, man. I'd catch you an uppercut in the way, and you wouldn't take me down with that wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
And then the first time a good wrestler takes you down, you go, well, this is new. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing
totally.
there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, I didn't like UFC at all. I think the first time I ever watched anything in the UFC was I think it was Chuck Liddell Tito Ortiz 3. I think that was the first thing I was seeing, and I kind of went, oh. But it was like, to me, it was a bad boxing match. That's what it was.
See now, do you watch boxing and just think, take him down? You've got the underhook, take him down. When you're watching boxing?
Never watch boxing. I'm like, man, why do you not just take him down?
I know.
Man, this guy, look at him. He's primed for a single leg. Just take him down. So I've kind of completely flipped. Never barely watch it. I still watch boxing, but I predominantly just watch MMA and jiu-jitsu. I don't boxing's the annoying thing when you watch like a boxing match is very rarely do you look at a fight and go, people always ask you, who's going to win this, who's going to win that. Very rarely on a boxing card do you go, I don't know. Yeah. Whereas, when you can look at the boxing card and go, he'll win. You look at an MMA card usually and go, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's, prefer.
I think what I enjoy about MMA over boxing, because again, I've watched boxing for years, and I get to the point now where I'm like, you've got the underhook, take it. Use it.
If you get a good boxing match, so if you get two Mexicans, for example, and they're willing to just stand in the pocket and trade, that's a beautiful thing to watch. Mm-hmm. Some great. We were talking last night with Ramsey. He put something on Facebook about Israel Vazquez and Rafael Marquez had 4 fights, and each one of them was unbelievable. Just unbelievable fights. Juan Manuel Marquez and Juan Diaz, those kind of fights. Juan Marquez and Michael Katsidas, just amazing fights to watch. Unbelievable fights. If there's a fight like that on, it's still an unbelievable thing to watch.
Totally.
But too much of it is just terrible, just boring. You see a guy and he'll just coast. He's winning the fight, and he won't. Mike Tyson always tried to murder people's faces. But you get guys now, I'm winning, so I'm just going to keep doing this. Which gets quite annoying. Which is one of the things where I've never been a fan. I've never been a Deontay Wilder fan. I don't like Deontay Wilder at all. I don't like a lot of the things he says about wanting a body on his record and all this. I don't like that. That's not cool. But he looked to hurt people, which was exciting. He had, no real boxing skill, but he could punch. That was exciting. Yeah, if you watch, could you imagine a UFC heavyweight that just wanted to win on points? You know what I mean? It just, who wants to watch that?
Totally. I think the thing that makes MMA on the whole more exciting than the boxing is a little bit like you're saying. You can kind of there is always that element of uncertainty because there's so many different finish. You're not just worrying about one knockout punch with the right hand. It could be someone could get taken down and just smothered and dominated, ground and pound submissions, knockouts, leg kicks, so their legs are just absolutely destroyed from face kicks, whatever it might be. There's just more options as to how it could finish.
What's good about MMA as well is, so boxing essentially has always been the same. So boxing's always been the same. You go right back to John L. Sullivan. Those guys, they had the funnier kind of stance, when he's standing here. But boxing's never really changed. Whereas you watch, you can follow patterns in MMA. Same as jiu-jitsu. So when people, you can follow patterns. So if somebody's, if everybody's getting very good at leg kicks, there will be an evolution where people figure out how to remove the leg kicks, to take leg kicks away, to then get better at wrestling. And then the wrestling needs to be bent to jiu-jitsu, and sometimes so it constantly flows. And there's if there's a wrestler, Khabib's obviously unbelievable at the minute.
Yes.
Somebody will figure out how to stop his wrestling, And then everybody will go, oh, actually, wrestling's maybe not the way to do it. Maybe we should do this, whatever it is they do. You know, whether it's like a Tony Ferguson who's really good off his back, whether they figure out, you know, let's just get good off our back, let Khabib take us down, and we'll figure out from the back, or whether they realise that they could go and be, you know, an elite level Muay Thai guy and get very good at kicks, or whether it's boxing, they're very good with their hands. There will be a point where somebody figures out Khabib, and then people go, oh, maybe wrestling's not the answer, and then it'll come back full circle at some point, because that's what, you know, people get. Because boxing has just kind of always been boxing. There's only so much you can do. Whereas MMA, you know, I mean, there's things that could change and they change constantly. You know,
absolutely.
Like you could have an interesting conversation in boxing. You know, and one of the conversations that, you know, it's a great pub conversation is, you know, would Ali beat Tyson, or would Joe Louis beat Ali, or Floyd? Those conversations you can actually have them because it's the same thing. But you can't really say, you know, if you know, as you said, Ken Shamrock fought John Jones. I mean, he would get destroyed because the sport's evolved so much, it's came on so much. Yeah. John Jones is on steroids, but
that's also that. 100% that. The big dick pills in the party.
You can actually have the conversation with boxing, whereas MMA you can't, because it's a different thing now to what it was in 1993, 94.
Yeah.
It's a different thing altogether. So
absolutely. Even jiu-jitsu's gone that way. Do you know what I mean? If you go back and watch the early, even if you go back and watch like Mundials from like the mid-90s, it was very almost basic. Do you know what I mean? Everyone had an armbar, a triangle, half a dozen sweeps. It was just very, very good at applying them.
Yeah.
And then as it's spot on, it's
100%.
It will always.
That's essentially what Hodrick Gracie did.
Yeah.
I mean, Hodrick Gracie was just. It sounds like you're being mean, but I mean, very basic, but absolutely unbelievable at the basics.
100%. Yeah.
But you know, it's like you can't really have so you can have those conversations in boxing, but you can't really say, you know, how would Gordon Ryan get on against Hickson, because the sport's so different, and you know, it's gi, no gi. What would it be in? What would the rule set be? It's the different. You can't even, because it's changed so much.
It's been. You know what I've enjoyed as well, because I mean, I started watching MMA probably the late 90s. I started watching MMA on and off, with like buying the actual VHS tapes, and then when it obviously started to appear a little bit more regularly, like going old school. But you've been able to follow that path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've kind of seen it in your own lifetime, if you like, where you have seen the early days, and then through like the UFC sort of 20s through 40s, when all the wrestlers all came in. So your likes of Tito, your likes of Mark Coleman, that all came in, Mark Kerr, that had that wrestler background, and suddenly they were taking guys down and ground and pounding them. Because there was, if you go back and watch like the first 4, 5, 6 UFCs, there's no ground and pound. It was just Hoist tapping people off his back because no one knew what to do when they got on the ground. Because they were all kickboxers, boxers, Savat, Muay Thai, and the minute they ended up on their back, they realised they couldn't strike.
One of the funniest things is Art Jimmerson with one glove on. Like, what are you going to do with one glove on, you idiot? Like, I don't know if has anybody ever interviewed him since? And like said, what are you thinking about?
Yeah, well, apparently, because I've read an interview with him, and he said he had he was intending to go out with both gloves because he was a boxer, and then literally as he was stood on the entrance ramp about to go in, someone said, "Oh, you know, you can grab them and grapple," and he's like, "Oh, I better have a hand I can grab with," and just took off his non-power hand and just went out with the one glove on.
What an idiot! It's one of those things in history now. You look back at, obviously at the time, like you say, he didn't know. But now looking back, you must go, "What an asshole! Why would you do that?" But obviously at the time, he didn't know.
Even like, do you remember Big Manny Yarborough, the big 700-pound sumo wrestler, got punted in the face?
That was what was the guy that kicked him in the head? What was he called again?
I can't remember. I just remember Yarborough man.
Yeah,
Yarborough.
yeah, his tooth came flying out.
Aye.
That's quite funny. Talking about Art Jimison boxing going in my glove. What do you think of bare knuckle?
It goes back to something you just mentioned a wee minute ago, that, if you go back, 100 years, maybe 130 years, that was how everyone boxed. And that stance you were talking about?
Yeah, that's why that's the box that way, because it was bare knuckle, yeah.
It's bare knuckle, because you can't box like that, bare knuckle, because there's too much space for it. It works with a 16-ounce club, but there's too much space behind. So if the bare knuckle continues, I think, because at the moment people are boxing pro boxing style with bare knuckle. Aye, they'll need to go back in that circle and learn how to stance, because you can't get punched in the face because your face falls apart.
Yeah, you can't do it. Yeah, so that's 100% right. Paulie thought he could go into bare knuckle and just, I mean, if it was a boxing match, Paulie 5 years ago even would have made Artem Lobov look stupid, but bare knuckles is a different thing. Interestingly, a guy that I boxed, a friend of mine, Gareth Walker, is British bare knuckle heavyweight champion at the minute. Good guy. Yeah. He's bare knuckle, a guy I boxed with, and that would beat him as an amateur. He's been just a big tough guy, but it looks it's you know what, it's kind of like jiu-jitsu in a way, because there's no room for mistakes.
No, 100%.
You could be doing well in jiu-jitsu and go, this is all right, I'm doing all right here, and you're not, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Knuckles like that, you could be doing, and you take a right hand or a left hook, and then you're going to sleep. Boxing, you can kind of take a few. Bare knuckles kind of. It'd be interesting to see where bare knuckle boxing goes.
Well, that's it, because again, you're looking at it just starting to the re-emergence of it, because obviously, as we say, it happened regularly. 130 years ago, it was just bare knuckle. So if it goes serious, then guys will have to go back and relearn the techniques. Because everything they've learned over the last 60 years, 70 years, however far back you want to go, with leather gloves, doesn't work anymore. Yeah. You can't come forward behind a high guard because you don't have 32 inches of padding to protect you.
You don't have a big
There's too much space. There's too much. So guys are going to have to go back to that old school stance.
It'll be interesting to see how it pans out, or if it's allowed to pan out. But
yeah. I don't know if there's as much of an appetite for it, because the MMA fans will prefer MMA still. Do boxing fans want to see that much blood? Because I've got a couple of friends that are boxing fans, and they dislike MMA because they dislike how much people get bust wide open, because there's elbows, there's knees. They don't like seeing the blood. They're like, it's a bit sad. I prefer the noble art of people punching each other in the head repeatedly until, do you know what I mean? They don't like seeing the blood. I think it's a very small, group to pull from. But I just wonder if...
It's weird that there's still groups like that who are like, no, boxing's better, or no, MMA's better. Like, why do you not just watch fights?
Yeah.
Why do you have, it's really weird. I am Brew there. Scottish as it comes.
Aye.
He's a Highland coffee bar over it.
Aye.
It's weird that people still have those little like, I don't want to. I'm not watching MMA because I'm a boxing fan. I don't like the violence. No, man, shut up. Just watch fights. It's weird that people don't like the violence. I don't like somebody getting cut open. Some of the worst cuts I've ever seen in my life, or some of the worst injuries you've ever seen in boxing. Like, you ever see Vitaly Klitschko's cuts against Lennox Lewis? Horrendous. The cut on his eye, his left eye, was horrendous.
Yeah,
like fucking this wide. You know what it always reminds me of? It reminds me of, when you like cut a sausage in the middle, you bait and you.
I am.
That's what it reminds me of.
I know. Okay. But yeah, as you say, it depends if, as everything, if there's an appetite for it and people are willing to pay money to watch it, it will continue.
Yeah.
There'll always be some state, or, like, again, if you go back to the early days of the UFC, it was really only in about 3 states, or the Indian casinos, because they had... Aye. And then people slowly realise, like, you think about the fact that, like, New York only legalised MMA in, 2015, 16?
I wish they hadn't, because they keep making a mess of the decisions and the refereeing decisions.
I know. But
It is.
that is it.
That's one of the they're still they're applying boxing logic and boxing scoring and stuff to MMA, and it just doesn't work. Stupid, completely stupid.
Would you like to see a cut back to the days of no rounds, no time limit? You know, like the early UFCs where it was just fight until someone wins.
Yeah, that's kind of like the London Prize rules in boxing, where there was the way that the rules were in London Prize rules was there was no rounds. It was if somebody got knocked down, that was the end of the round. And the event had a minute. I think it was a minute they had in the corner, and then they came back out. There was no actual rounds. That's kind of going back to that where no rounds, no time limit. It's until somebody gets.
Until someone can't answer the bell, eh?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, somebody probably is doing that in Asia. You know, those crazy bastards are like. They're probably doing something like that there, like Pride. You know, like not Pride obviously, but something like that, where no time limits. No, I don't know. I think there has to be a structure.
I think so too. If you're having it as an event, as an actual competition event, because imagine plan out 14 fights of a card and the first 3 last for an hour and 20 minutes each. Suddenly you're like, well, that was the end of the card.
Whether you had like a main event, the problem is you can always, so like the John Jones and Dominic Reyes just recently, when one of the arguments was that people were making for John Jones as well. If John Jones was coming on strong, if it went another round, he would have, he probably would have won. He would have knocked submitted down, whatever. But you can make that argument for as long as you want to go on. How far do you go with that? Like, there has to be some kind of structure, I think. So it'd be cool to see, like in jiu-jitsu, when you get a super fight, it's maybe like a subordinate super fight and it's no time limit. That kind of stuff might be quite cool. If it was if you had a super fight, like an MMA super fight, no time limit, and essentially sub or knockout only, no decisions. That might be quite interesting. But you couldn't possibly have a card, like you're saying, like there's a 14 fight card that all lasts 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's like so you've got to take a week off work to watch it. That wouldn't work. But yeah, a super fight might be quite interesting. If you had like a Stipe versus Francis super fight, no time limit, would that be interesting? What happens?
Yeah.
That would be quite something like that would be interesting. But yeah, I don't think they'd ever do it. But that would be quite interesting. Yeah, you could have a card. You could have a card that way. It'd be crazy.
You'd be banking on the fact that a few fights would be finished in seconds. And
yeah, they would be. Yeah, they're always going to get knockouts. But yeah, you also, if somebody knows that they could fight for 45 minutes, they would pace themselves for 45. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? If somebody goes, I might be fighting for 2 hours here, they come out at a slow pace, and it becomes it might be more exciting because people might try and hurt each other, but it might be less exciting because people go, I might have to fight for an hour and 37 minutes. I'm going to pace myself like that and just come out and throw, like Ngannou and Derek Lewis, where they threw
12 fights, 12 punches.
Two punches around. Just saving myself down the stretch.
I think it will work either. As I say, I know the early UFCs were like the whole no time, or like the old Gracie challenge and the Vale Tudo rules.
That kind of stuff's cool. Yeah, those kind of things are really cool. Some of those Gracie challenge things, that'd be cool to be around about that stuff. To see that stuff or be there. That'd be really cool. But I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds in these crazy times?
Indeed.
These crazy coronavirus times, anything can happen.
These crazy Batsu era.
We might never get out of the house again.
I know. It's been. I'm getting fed up. What was that?
Did you say crazy bat soup?
Yes.
I just seen something. What was that seen earlier on? This morning I was reading something. There was a report in, I can't remember, one of the papers, like from a market in China, and they're doing the same thing again. Mm-hmm. Doing the same thing again. They've got all sorts of mad animals all stacked on top of each other. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens when we get out of this thing. I think the world will be a different place.
Well, I was wondering that, will it or will everyone just... Because I've seen so many people like being like, I'm never going back to that company because the way they've treated their workers, and I'll never go back in that restaurant. And then I guarantee the first weekend it's open, it'll be stacked out.
Yeah, that's how people say things without really meaning them. I mean, I've seen some stuff, people boycott Witherspoons, boycott, and shut up.
Yeah.
You're looking for a cheap pint, you're going to Witherspoons.
Exactly.
I think there'll be some stuff that China will have to deal with. I don't think they'll get away with ruining most of the world. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time.
What's your favourite conspiracy theory you've heard about the whole COVID-19 outbreak?
No, they're all stupid.
There's one reason, because of those wet markets in China. But all the ones about, China have done it to collapse the world economy, so they come out at first and profit. It's caused by 5G. No. The whole thing that kicks off about the 5G was they said sometimes 5G can cause flu-like symptoms in certain individuals, as in the nausea, the fever, and the shakes, because they are more sensitive to electromagnetic. It's not transmittable from person to person.
No. And the thing is, if they knew that at the time, they would have just switched 5G off. You know what I mean? They wouldn't. And if there was genuine worries, about 5G and people's health, right? Why would the world's we have Vodafone and O2 and stuff, bigger ones around the world? Why would they spend billions and billions and billions rolling out 5G if they thought it was going to be? Because what's the benefit to them?
There isn't any. It's just
why would they spend billions?
Totally. It's all because some people have, or a lot of people, have picked up on that report that said with some individuals 5G can cause flu-like symptoms. And everyone's going, coronavirus causes flu-like symptoms.
Must be coronavirus. One of the coolest things I've heard, I think it's only came out in the last 2 days. It's not cool at all. It's like quite morbid. I don't know why I said cool. So they looked at the mobile phone providers in China released data, and in the last 3 months, their mobile phone users have dropped by 21 million. And it's like, well, why? What's happened to 21 million people?
I know.
So that's great.
You would think if they were all sat at home a little bit like we are, they would use their mobile phones more so they can keep in touch with people.
Yeah, it was dropped by 21 million.
People disappeared.
Yeah, that was I think that was Bloomberg or something. I read that. I think it was Bloomberg. Read it online. Yeah, they've dropped by 21 million people. There's no clear explanation as to why there's 21 million less people using their mobile phones in China. But you know that China say that they lose. I think worldwide it's like 290,000 to 600,000 people die of the flu every year. China say that they lose 50 people from the flu each year. So China lie about its numbers.
Oh, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. It's like the one I've seen one that said, the reason North Korea have got no cases is because they're a Chinese ally. No, there's been no reported cases because it's a completely mental state that
you're not allowed in.
Bearing in mind, I think it depends, as always, take everything you read on the internet with a pinch of salt, but there's all that stuff where it's like the North Koreans think they've won the last 3 World Cups and the Super Bowl. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, what's the ridiculous things that what was the dad's name? Kim Il-sung?
Aye, Kim Il-sung. Yeah. Kim Jong-il.
Yeah, he said like he invented the cheeseburger.
Aye.
He invented golf, and that he never went for a dump. Like, and we believe him.
Yeah.
So
it's a total cult of personality. Eh? So anything that North Korea tells you, I'm not believing, because they will undoubtedly have had cases of coronavirus. They'll have shot them.
They had one guy. They shot him. There was one report. One guy on the shoot him. That's that dealt with.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've seen these things. Saying these countries, but like you say, North Korea doesn't have any. Russia doesn't have any. Yeah, that's because they locked their borders down.
Yeah.
And instantly, because they can
Russia
do that.
Well, it's been proven that Russia has cases. They've been reporting cases, very small numbers, but again, take everything that comes out of Russia with a pinch of salt.
Because they have the ability to shut their borders. We're in Europe. We can't shut our borders. So people just cross over back and forward, you know, and that's you know, and you know, I know Italy's got it horrendously bad, but they're quite they all hug, kiss each other. That's going to spread.
They've also got the oldest population on average in Europe as well.
Heavy smokers. A lot of heavy smokers. So that stuff, so you can make anything look like a conspiracy theory if you just you can, you get like some points and just make a big jump. You say like 5G, it's like, well, 5G, it can create some flu-like symptoms in some people, and then this coronavirus comes along and goes, oh, it must be that. You're making a huge leap here, man. Jesus, you're making that huge jump. It's certainly interesting. I don't know what's what, but.
Have you seen how they reckon it exploded in both Italy and Spain? Because they're the two heaviest hit countries in Europe.
Yeah.
Have you seen where they've done the epidemiology of that they reckon they trace it back to the Valencia versus Atalanta, I think it was, in the Champions League.
All right.
Because just as it was all kicking off, and there was apparently a couple of reported cases in the northern part of Italy, and then obviously 40,000 fans in the stadium plus other fans in the pubs and because obviously loads of people go to the football game without a ticket, and then they all went back home, and then within a week suddenly most of northern Italy and parts of that section of Spain around Valencia were the two big hotspots, and they reckon that it's just been half a dozen people have just like coughed, spread, as you say, the Italian hugging and kissing, and so you sometimes with this lockdown, as we're calling it, it has to have an effect on that, and they're worried that. I read an article, was that on USA Today, they were talking about American sports, but they were saying that they're worried about a biological time bomb, that when they reopen the stadiums and lift that there will be people that are still infectious, that they suddenly spread it, because you end up with, 60 football stadiums coughing on each other.
I know they're worried about, even like here, they're worried about like a second wave, which is why we were looking. What's happened here?
Nothing.
Oh, am I still there? My screen's dark. 2 seconds. Why?
I know.
It says something about my password. That's better. It came up with something about a password.
All right.
I think that's the reason.
Put you through the phone there because we've been talking about it.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, man. China's blocking my phone. They were talking, the reason that we were doing things that we were doing was because they were trying to stop it happening like Italy. They were kind of saying everybody's, a large amount of the population are going to get it. We're going to try and do it slightly different to Italy. But that's it, people will then go, the government are useless. Man, you don't. I've seen so many people put in that. It's like, well, you don't have the data. You're not talking to any scientists. Like, I'm 100% certain they're not sitting at they don't have a dastardly plan in Downing Street around a big table going, how many people can we kill? It's not happening, man.
Most of the 70-year-olds vote the Tories in. They don't want to lose that bulk vote. Do you know what I mean?
It's so ridiculously stupid to suggest that they want to kill old people because most of the old people they vote for. So that's stupid. So yeah, I know that's what we were planning on doing. Whether it works or not, the thing is as well is, people are judging it on face value, but this has never happened before.
No.
How do you prepare for something that's never happened? So like we're just talking about, like Art Jimerson. Now it looks stupid. You look back and go, Art Jimerson was a moron. Why would he have done that? But at the time, he was like, I don't know. Try it. It's a new thing. Who knows? Like, so it's the same with this. A different thing, obviously. It's unfortunate people are dying and stuff. But how do you deal with something that nobody's ever dealt with? Nobody wants people to die, but it's a new thing. Nobody knows how. We're not prepared for it. How do you prepare for something that's never happened before?
Yeah, you can put plans in place where they'll undoubtedly have had a folder that said, in the event of, these are what we're going to try. But again, you're running an experiment in real time of, okay, we'll try. That's not working. Let's try this. Okay, that's worked pretty well. Let's keep going with that. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's ask everyone to be sensible. Spoons is absolutely packed out. Okay, now we're going to have to enforce the shutting of pubs, clubs, restaurants because people can't be sensible.
So one of the things that was interesting to read was you follow Majid Tawaz?
No. Is that the one you posted?
Yeah, he's really, really good. And he was putting up, if they would shut the economy down completely, that would kill way more people than the coronavirus ever would. It's quite an interesting article. If you completely shut the economy down, a lot of people are going to really struggle, and it will create unbelievable poverty. They have to try and keep the economy moving in some capacity. People are just, everybody's saying, oh, no, we need money. We need the government to give us money. Yeah, but there isn't issues. You know this, working nationwide. People assume that businesses have bottomless pits of money.
Yeah,
they don't. they just don't. There isn't a bottomless pit of money. There's only so much money you can borrow. So and the thing is, short term, giving everybody money might be great. Long term, that money is going to have to be paid back someplace, which will mean higher taxes. But so long term, it's going to be terrible because taxes and stuff will have to rise to cover the cost. If you're borrowing against stuff, it has to. So it's one of those things where how can you possibly deal with something that's never happened? It is unprecedented. Nobody knows what to do. There isn't a right answer because nobody's got it right. I've seen people now saying, China are on top of it. China lie about everything. So when they're saying they're on top of it, are they?
Have you seen what they did in India? They enforced a countrywide lockdown. Bear in mind, there's 1.2 billion people in India, and they gave people 4 hours' notice. So people naturally rush to the supermarkets and all the shops to buy food in because it's a 3-week lockdown, as in you're not allowed out your house, like isolation for 3 weeks, and it starts in 4 hours. Go. So everyone went, and people were stuck in cities trying to get home. People where they had no food in, and literally the police were going about. There was loads of food.
I've seen the police hitting them with sticks.
Because basically they're like, "Why are you out? You shouldn't be." So they've
noise just made.
Screwed the pooch there. That is a good noise I make.
But they've completely.
Years, absolutely.
You can just pretend. Are you in the bathroom in the morning? Just pretend to be in there and you'll just go. Yeah, I've not seen that. Like I've seen stuff about Iran and stuff where there's like satellite images of Iran having like huge mass graves, just digging trenches. They're the same. They're not really telling you the real numbers. These guys don't. This is one of the things that's hilarious. This is one of the things that's hilarious about when people complain about Britain, and they're like, government's terrible. And they're not doing this right. Man, go and have a look at some of these guys are doing. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. Iran's just mass graves.
Well, remember Iran for a long time were like the number 2 in the league table behind China, and then you just never heard anything because it hit Europe, and everyone just forgot about Iran.
They don't. And people were talking. I heard people talking about Iran had got on top of it. Iran just shot down one of their own airplanes because they didn't know the difference between a commercial plane and one of America's bombs. They're not particularly intelligent.
They don't seem to be.
That was one of the things, because at the time, I remember saying this to somebody. So somebody was saying that, it's 5G. It's 5G that's killing everybody. I'm like, okay, well, America doesn't really have any cases at this point, and Iran had a lot. So you're saying that Iran's got a better 5G network than America? It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. But then, like you say, all of a sudden Iran is like, nobody's talking about Iran, but yeah, there's been satellite images from NASA, and it's like massive trenches for mass graves. But who knows?
I've realised I've kind of always realised, but it's became solidified in my brain that 90% of people seem to get their information from social media.
Well, I was talking to Johnny about this, and we're having a conversation about this whole thing. And he was kind of the same as you. He's like, I don't like Boris Johnson at all, but he hates him. He was, but I think he's doing an all right job. How do you manage this thing? But I can't remember what I was going to say there. This is why you don't box. I've completely forgot what I was going to say.
That's all right.
I don't
But
know.
yeah,
I don't know what I was going to say. Oh,
yeah, people getting
that's what it was. Sorry.
Go.
We were talking about it, and we're just saying one of the things that's going to come out of this is the way that we take in information has to change, because we'll share things on Facebook, and it's all you have to do is quickly Google it and go, "Oh, no, that's not true."
Yeah,
People
it was
don't
like
even a headline. They just clickbait and go, "Oh, that's what happened."
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. We'll have to change it because Facebook's terrible for sharing information. Terrible for sharing information.
It's because it shares so quickly, and suddenly 300 people have reshared it, and it goes. It's like the one, I don't know if you saw it midweek. There was loads of people on my feed were resharing the one about if your child gets corona, you will not be able to go in the ambulance with them. You won't be able to ever visit them in the hospital for the 3 weeks. Think about that rather than going outside. Bullshit.
Yeah.
NHS came out and said, no, that's not true. If your child is ill, you will, as the parent, get to come with them. Because guess what? You've been living in the house with them when they've been ill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just people not even think. People are like, oh my God, this is my actual worst nightmare. Like, oh my God, if my bairn was ill and I couldn't go with him, oh my God, that breaks my actual heart.
Yeah,
just second to have a think about it. You've been living in the house with the child. If the child is ill, chances are you're also going to have either the do you know what I mean?
Yeah, those kind of things get shared so easily.
Share. And it is true, there's all those ones, and I love using Sandra just because it's my wife's name, but or the ones where it's like, oh yeah, Sandra, you're an epidemiologist this week. Last week you were selling bath bombs. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I've had to say like a few people like when they're saying ridiculous things, you just go, what's your scientific background? I thought you were a welder. Oh, you are. Oh, okay, cool. So when anything happens political, you've got a degree in politics, and now you've got a degree in human biology. Okay, cool. No, you're not. You're in the pub on a Friday night, drinking, supporting the Celtic or supporting the Rangers. You don't know anything about science. So that's that's what, because people believe what they want to believe.
yeah.
When they see something and go, oh man, it's like they want to over dramatize things. I don't know. It's a bizarre time to live in. Whereas, I've seen things before. It doesn't matter what the subject is, but I've seen things before, and that's pretty bad. Let me Google it. You Google it, and it's like hoax story on fake. No, it's not even true. Just completely. It's so easy to share. And how many times have you seen somebody sharing something about a lost dog, and you look at it and it's like from Alberta, Canada?
I've got friends who like, look out for this kid. He went missing in Michigan, 2014. Shared in wherever, like Log Alley. Thanks, Sandra.
People don't read anything, nothing. So I don't. There's not a lot more to be said. People need to actually do a little bit. The thing is, as well, is it's so lazy, because at the minute all we've got is time, because we can't do anything. So to share something without actually researching it is completely stupid, because you've got loads of time to actually, let me just look at this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
people don't want to though. People want that instant hit, that instant click, the instant just jump.
Bad news shares way better than good news.
Mm-hmm.
Bad news shares way better than good news. So when something's bad, it will spread like wildfire. But nobody. So one of the things is really, I haven't really seen. I've not seen many people sharing it, but the government said we're looking for 250,000 volunteers to help the NHS. Doing driving and running prescriptions and all this kind of stuff. And they got something like 600,000 volunteers in 48 hours. You go, that's incredible. But whilst all this badness is going on and craziness is going on, there's some unbelievable acts of generosity going on. People doing things like that, which is amazing. But that it's not obviously popular.
No, and it's the same as they keep announcing. I understand why they're doing it, but they're announcing the daily death toll, like it's gone up by 228 deaths overnight, whatever. But they don't actually. You're not seeing as much of the fact that, by the way, 74,000 people have had it and are actually okay now.
Yeah, it kind of bothers me when you look on I don't watch the news, but whenever I see anything, there's something on Facebook, and it's like the media have got like a clicker. It's like they've got a clicker going, another one's dead, and they're reporting on it like this. Come on, man. Why not just, people have died, but I don't. It's like like they're almost celebrating the fact that, you know, but you're saying, they're not saying, yeah, you know, and you know, I hate that T-shirt. They're not saying, yeah, like you're saying, like, yeah, you know, Idris Elba had it, and had no symptoms.
Yeah,
This is amazing. This is cool. So yeah, it's a crazy time. Crazy time, but there's a lot of things that we have to change. The way we take information in has to change, because at the minute it's just mental.
It'll be interesting to see if it, because you're seeing loads of reports as well about like the pollution level dropping, because like most major cities are kind of closed down, and seeing footage of like fish coming back into the Venice canals, dolphins round, you know, certain areas, and wherever it might be, whatever, you know, key species you want to talk about coming back, and all the pollution dropping. Whether people are going to be, let's keep that side of it going, or whether it'll just go back to, my gut says it'll go back to normal, because people do.
You probably find that there'll be a spike, because people are going to, all of a sudden, everybody's going to want, once this is all undone, everybody's going to want to go on holiday, go on a trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the problem with the whole, you know, the whole pollution thing. The whole pollution thing is one of the biggest problems. Is you have to have a decline in living standards almost, because you can't really go on holiday all the time. You know, the thing is, you know, it's like these people who believe in communism, you know, whilst they're tweeting from their iPhone, drinking out of Starbucks. You go, you don't understand this, do you? You know what I mean? So for that to really work, what we really need to stop doing is, you know, yourself, like almost everything we buy is from China, but that all stuff's all has to get shipped over here, flown over here. That's all bad for the environment. So you know, but then again, you know, I think it was something, I read something once that like if everybody was to buy an iPhone that was made in Britain or America, it would cost something like £3,000. So that's the reality of it. So again, how do you fight? So everybody, you know, on that front, everybody can do better. You know, stop buying so many unnecessary things. You know, junk that people buy. But you know, it's, you know, we could make tellies here, and we could make hi-fis here, and we could make phones here, but it would cost an absolute fortune, and people won't pay £3,000 for an iPhone.
No.
So that's the problem with that kind of stuff. So yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when it all.
It's an interesting time.
And it's not just going to be a couple of weeks down the line. You're probably looking at 18 months for the full come clear, because they're going to have to repay or do something with this money that they punted out to everyone. You know, they're going to have to look at the impact of. It'll be interesting to what changes as well.
Yeah. They can't just give out money to everybody and not expect to see tax rises on the other side of it.
No.
Money will have to be paid back somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
How it happens, I don't know. But yeah, hopefully by the end of the year we can start getting things done again. There's a couple of jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff, and hopefully we can get them done. You know, ADCC usually in Manchester in December. That would be cool to go to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'll go to Naga again. And there's a Naga in Budapest actually that looks quite fun. I think it's August or September. Well, hopefully we can get those kind of stuff done.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to get back on the mats first.
I know. I've not been in the new Goliath unit for an actual session.
I've done one.
Nah, because I was remember I was ill. I was an early adopter of the potential COVID-19. So I was out for a couple of weeks as they were moving, and then just as it reopened, or as it opened, or whatever way you want to talk about it, I was out. And then as I was thinking about going back, all this kicked off, and I never ever go back. So I've been in the new unit and seen it, but I've not seen it all matted up. And
I did one Tuesday morning, and I was about 2 weeks before it, or maybe 10 days before everybody else, when it started to become a problem. And you know, he's when I'm just going to stop going to the pool to swim, and I'm just not going to go to jiu-jitsu, and we'll just see what happens. And I think I did the right thing, just stopping a little bit early. I don't know in terms of time frame. I don't know. Will it be 3 weeks? Will it be 6 weeks? Will it be 12 weeks? I don't know. The one thing is the gym will be mobbed when we go back because everybody's going to want to train. So that'll be cool. But
it'll be like a second January rush, eh?
It will be, yeah. What time is it?
No idea.
Confused because my clock is. I've not put my clock forward. Was it forward or back last night?
Bring forward, yeah, forward.
So it must be after 10.
Must be.
Yeah. I want to get some food. I have to love you and leave you.
That's cool. Well, this is done an hour anyway, so we can stop recording here now. We're doing it.
Well, that was fun, and I'll speak to you later on.
Indeed, I'm going to stop the recording just now as my finger appears on the